Ho, ho, ho! Welcome back to the 23rd episode of Home At Advantage. I am Sam Herring, joined today by Jude Swisher of State College, Pennsylvania. How are you doing on this fine Christmas Eve day, Jude?
Hey, it's Christmas Eve. This is the Christmas edition of Home At Advantage holiday special. That's why we started with ho 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 instead of our normal whoa whoa whoa. But just because it's Christmas doesn't mean we're gonna stop bringing you guys content and bringing you guys, delightful senior national stuff. Because, man, that was some of the most fun I've had watching wrestling in a very long time. Senior nationals was, man, I got really into it, far more into it than I expected to. So that was really special. I would like to remind our listeners, as I always do, to follow our Instagram and our Twitter. Our Instagram is at HMA Wrestling and our Twitter is at HMA Wrestling. Makes it easier for you. It's convenient. Yeah, and our email is hmatadvantage@gmail.com. You can send us emails. We'll do our best to respond to you. And, man, our website is flourishing, Sam. Have you ever been to homeatadvantage.com? www.hma wrestling. Yeah. Sam, let me tell you, give it a try. We got a lot of stuff up there. We got tons of people writing for us. We got people who help us with our photos and help us with our, putting our podcasts up there. And you can find all of our links to everything on www.hmawrestling.com. We're getting bigger and bigger, and it's very exciting. So
Absolutely, it's really fun. Yeah, I think we're doing a good job. On all different platforms of social media, Facebook, Instagram. I'm gonna plug our Facebook real quick. It's
Facebook.
So Facebook pages don't have @ signs. It's kind of sad, but anyway, it's Home At Advantage is the Facebook page. Go, I think it's like us there.
Follow, friend us. Send us a friend request. I don't do Facebook.
Well, I think friend request is for like personal pages. So if I was like Sam Herring, then you would friend me. But if it's home, I don't know.
Okay, well, who knows? I mean, that's why you're in charge of it, Sam, and I am not in charge of Facebook because I don't know how it works. So, Sam, let's just hop right into it. Senior Nationals, what were your overall thoughts of the tournament? How did you feel about it?
So Senior Nationals is like a normal U.S. Open. So I was expecting about that level of caliber with obviously the weight smushed into 6 weights. So obviously I don't like that, but at the same time I love it. As a spectator, I get to see dream matchups take place. So I love getting to watch that. I love how crazy it was. There were so many upsets, and we wrote some articles, and I made some picks inside those articles. And most of it was, I picked a lot of upsets, and I thought I picked enough upsets so that I would actually I was pretty confident in what I picked.
Yeah.
And then all the matches that I picked to be upset went chalk, and then all the matches that I picked to be chalk went upset.
Oh,
That's
crazy.
It did not go well.
Yeah, I know that.
Not all, but a lot of.
A lot of them, yeah. I know that my picks did not do super good. Truthfully, I know I picked Suriano to win, and then Spencer to take second, and Nashon Garrett to take third.
Shame on you.
I was so very wrong. I was so wrong. I was truthful. Like my reasoning, like it was like, well, Spencer's gonna be back, and he's gonna have, some absolute monsters, and also, he walks around he wrestles 125, and he's gonna be Suriano, who's wrestled 133. He's just going to be wrestling bigger people. And so I was like, I don't know if he could do it, but boy, did he do it.
Shame on you for doubting Spencer Lee.
Yeah, I'll never doubt him again. Spencer all the way. Because it was not close. It was not close. Even in the finals.
Not at all.
He had 4s, and he made NATO he just obliterated him. So, what the biggest thing for me was like just how big the drop off was from first to second. and then from second to third, and then like it goes down. And Spencer is very far ahead. So, Sam, what did
I
you
would
think
have
about
loved to
57?
seen. Well, I'm the same way, except I was actually smart and picked Spencer Lee. No, but I really do like Spencer Lee. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. And you know, the way he dominated the freestyle scene when he was in juniors and cadets isn't always it doesn't always
Yeah, no,
tie and
doesn't
correlate
always
directly to
translate. Yeah,
senior. In this case, it did, and Spencer Lee was a phenom on that level. I mean, he won 3 world titles out of 4 tries. So he competed 4 times and won 3 world titles and made 4 world teams, which is absolutely insane to me. And I just feel like he's like a cheat code of wrestling. His especially freestyle.
yeah.
I think people overlook his freestyle abilities. Everything that he does in folk style is even better in freestyle.
Hmm.
So his fireman's down to the guy's back, and he does that a little differently. I like that, where he takes it straight down instead of all the way over. Um, I think that Spencer Lee's freestyle is a lot better, especially with his trapped arm and leg lace.
Yeah.
So his top game in folk style is good. His top game in freestyle is that much better.
And like his, just like you said, his dump fireman's thing, it, if you want to get backs with it in folk style, you have to hold him, right? But in freestyle, you can actually,
Right.
all you have to do is get to break 90. And so he can go harder, just all he has to do is break 90, and then he has twice as many points. So, and then obviously like his transitions from takedown to gut or takedown to lace, so fast, so hard to stop.
Yes, they're so fast.
And it's like a good thing to see for, for America being like, yeah, we can produce some guys that are doing some incredibly high level stuff at a relatively young age. So
The
that
mini Sadulayev.
he's a mini Sag alive. Sam, how do you think he's gonna fare at in state college in April?
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I think he's gonna perform well. Another thing about Spencer though in freestyle is the tech is 10 points. Spencer's able to put points up so fast, and Nomad wrote an article or like did stat pools and everything.
Yeah.
8 points he scores in the first period compared to the second and the third. And that might actually benefit him for freestyle because he can put so many points up so easily right away.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up 8-0, 8-2 going into the second period.
Yeah.
It's over. And
he's
he's
like
going to finish it with his
66%.
tech.
He's like 66% closer to a tech fall in freestyle than he is in folk style, He
Right.
only got 10 points, not 15.
match.
So thank you. Man, but how is he gonna do at the Olympic team trials? Do you think he's gonna win? Is he gonna beat Dayton Fix or Thomas Gilman?
So I think it's down to him and Dayton Fix. And we've seen this match a lot over the years, especially in their high school careers. I mean, only in their high school careers, I guess. And then when they were younger, too, but I'm not really counting that. Anyway, I think Fix has kind of separated himself from Gilman, and so is Spencer Lee. I feel like he's kind of out of the question. I think it's more guys like Nato and Suriano that they're gonna push those guys. And I after watching what Spencer did this last weekend, and my last might be recency bias. I mean, the last thing I saw from Spencer was this weekend, and he looked amazing. Yeah. And the last thing I saw from Dayton Fix was in October, and he didn't look so great.
Yeah. Well, it's not that he didn't look. I thought he looked okay, but he wasn't dominating, and that's it's the recency bias, just like you said. But I don't think we've ever seen Dayton Fix obliterate people like we've seen Spencer Lee do, against this quality of competition. Because Dayton Fix is really good, but Spencer Lee is just on a whole another level. It seems that way. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see this too. It's something we'll definitely be talking about more as we go forward. But I mean, do you have any other thoughts from the field?
Oh yeah. I mean, basically all we've talked about is Spencer Lee, and that's crazy that one
Yeah.
dude can get so much. But I mean, the way he performed was so amazing. And another thing. So moving away from Spencer, um, there are a couple things, and I looked at three guys, maybe four. I'll count Nick Suriano, Vito Arujau, Nato, and Nashawn Garrett. Um, all have something to take away from that I can see from here is so Vito is really technically or
Oh
freestyle
yeah.
savvy,
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
his parterre game and his ability to expose people to their back. I mean, he exposed Spencer Lee and got up a 2-0 lead, which is really rare. Again, Spencer Lee starts really hard, gets, scores points really fast in a match, and in that one he went down 2-0.
Yeah.
So I'm I think Vito is a little bit underrated. Did he beat Nick Suriano twice?
I think you
I
only
think
beat him
that's what I
once.
saw on the. And
Was it, I
Suriano
believe
came
once. I can
back and
check.
beat him in the backside. Um,
I will check.
but regardless, the way he was able to handle Nick Suriano was amazing, and I'm excited to see his future. I mean, he's only I mean, this is his sophomore year, junior year, not counting red shirts. So, I mean, about 21 years old. He's got a
Yeah.
long, long future ahead of him.
Yeah. Here I'm pulling up uh the results from the weekend, and I will be able to tell you right now.
Shame on me for not knowing that.
Shame on both of us. Oh, that's the wrong event. Dang it.
Um,
I'm sorry. I'm being slow and distracted.
any anyway,
I mean, go on, go on. I'm listening.
Nathan Tomasello looked amazing. I mean, him not being hurt is a scary thing, and I feel like we've kind of gotten a picture in our minds of Nathan Tomasello not being that good. And I think that's just
Hmm.
because of how banged up he was. Okay, so I'm looking it up. Vito won by forfeit. Nick Suriano forfeited.
Yeah. So, kind of. It's just he beat him
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
He got him in the. You know what I loved about that match? I'm sorry. I'm gonna interject here very quick. But what I loved about the match was how not intimidated Vito was of Suriano. Because, you know,
Yeah.
say what you will, but Suriano has really big muscles. He's very, very strong. Some people say he's the strongest person there. And Vito doesn't carry that kind of muscle like he does. And Vito doesn't have the same results that Suriano does. But it didn't matter, he went out and he was able to keep his head and get the score in the second period, I believe. And that's what we're training to do, right? Is not to just look at the
Hmm.
best guys, but to go and knock them off. So, I was super super pleased with Vito this weekend. He looked awesome.
I
Um,
was as well. Yeah. And
he's so
he looked
fluid.
fearless against. Yes, he is. And I was gonna say, he looked fearless against Spencer Lee too. Like he went out
Hmm.
there not scared, and he took the pace right away. And again, jumped out to an early 2-0 lead, I believe.
Hmm.
Was how it started.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he
it's
texts
very
Zach
impressive.
Sanders. He texts Sanders, and Zach Sanders is the guy who's been on he's more of a veteran. He's been on the freestyle scene for a long time, um, and he's super good too. So, um, good things from Vito. I'm excited to see him, continue to progress. And if you remember last year at the U.S. Open, or not last year, I guess the earlier this year, um, he jumped out to like a 4-0 lead on Dayton Fix. He was beating him, threw him right to his back. So
Yes,
I feel like
yes, that was nuts.
he might be a little underlooked, but I'm a big fan of Vito and what he's got to prove here. So hey, let's go to next weight. Next
Oh,
weight.
all right. 65 kilograms. I mean, this was probably one of the weights that was the most surprising. Definitely up there.
Oh yeah.
And the final was nobody would have predicted. I don't think.
Not me.
Joey McKenna and Jordan Oliver. Maybe Maybe Mrs. McKenna might have picked it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, um, I mean, Joey McKenna looked great. Jordan
So
Oliver
good.
looked great. There are so many guys that just looked great, and one guy we had on this show, Johnny DeJulius, he competed there. Was a
Our
good bit
man.
undersized, I'll say for 65, but he had a hurt ankle that would probably not help with cutting weight. So,
Yeah.
but he did look good. He got attacked with a lace right away. Got beat by Henderson though, but he looked pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, like, Johnny DeJulius is our man. I'm a big fan of him.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's good for the sport to have guys like continue to compete in it. Not just drop off the face of the planet. Sometimes literally, if you're Johnny DeJulius, he goes and does some crazy things. But it's good to have guys coming back into the sport and giving it a little depth. And
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Johnny DeJulius broke his ankle base jumping.
Ow, not good.
So crazy. Why does he do that?
Johnny,
I don't know about broke. I think he hurt his ankle like that.
Don't be silly, Johnny. Just
let's
calm down. Don't die. Base jumping is a good way to be dead. That's what I've been told.
Oh, all right. Moving on from base jumping, back to 65 kilos. I mean, a few more topic points before I get to like the top of the bracket. I want to talk about Josh Saunders, who's a high school senior. He took 8th at senior nationals, which is totally insane. He is a real prodigy. Senior. Yeah, maybe he got confused. Like he's saying senior
wrong senior.
Nationals.
Yeah, wrong seniors. This isn't NHSCA's.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, regardless, even if he was tricked by the name, he still performed really, really well. He beat Lazor, who teched Molinaro. 2016 Olympian was teched by Lazor, and Josh Saunders pinned him. He also beat Nick Dardanes and Dom Demas.
Wow. What was the score with him and Demas? I'm going to see.
It was... Let me look.
This is great radio. 8-6.
Yeah.
Man. Saunders he just had a tough draw right off the bat, like he hit Bryce Meredith.
Yes, he did.
Who is another guy that I thought looked really good.
Yeah. I mean, he ended up taking 6th, but I mean, Bryce Meredith looked great, and he actually took 2 losses to Bryce Meredith, I believe.
Yeah, Meredith. I mean, he was right there with Molinaro, right? It was 7-6, and Molinaro got it in the last couple seconds.
I'm not happy about that one.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about Frank Molinaro. Sam, what's your theory? What happened? How can this guy who was our rep, not 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and a guy who's neck and neck with Jordan Oliver, suddenly just have a tough tournament? Yeah.
I'm gonna credit it all to the weight cut, pretty much. He has looked so good in the past. I think he needs to bulk up. I don't think the Olympic year's for him, honestly.
Yeah.
It was in 2016, but I think he's grown a bit, and this weight cut is not good to him, especially seeing him so flat in that first match against Lazor. And the thing that's like the worst possible thing that you could get as a dude who's really cutting a lot of weight is a bye in the first round.
Yeah,
because
it's not useful.
You need a good I mean, you need a good warm-up round. It helps, and getting thrown straight into the fire is really hard for a guy who's coming right off the scale. And it's really important to get an insanely good warm-up in, and where you're dying, and that's where you burn your lungs out and you're dying, not on the mat. And to get yourself to do that right after weigh-ins when you don't feel great is got to be really, really hard.
And like Lazor or Lazor, however you say it, like he's not he's not really who you want to have first round. Like, he's funky. He does some really weird stuff. You know,
Yeah.
Molinaro was like unprepared for what Lazor had to bring to the table. And so it was partially, the weight cut. It was probably partially he had this funky guy. But I think at the end he was probably just a little unfocused, and wasn't dialed in. But I mean, he brought it all. He was able to fight all the way back. He wrestled, I don't know how many matches, like 8, maybe 9 matches.
Which again
1, 2, 3,
credits
4, 5, 6,
right being
7
right
matches.
off the scale. Yeah.
Yeah.
That again credits being right off the scale. He was able to knock off Kolodzik, Ironman, Whitford. I mean, he was on a roll.
Yeah.
And I think that first matchup where, I mean, you need a good gas tank or a good warm up or anything to get ready to go. And I don't think he had it. I don't think he got the warm up that he needed and it showed in that first match against Lazor.
Yeah, and it'll be just something that he's gonna have to either power through and deal with it, or maybe this isn't his year. Next year we might consider seeing him up at 70 kilograms, which would be probably a little bit of an easier cut for him. Let him grow a little bit. But those Olympic weights are tough. They're tough. Someone
I hate
that
to say it, but it looks like Frank Molinaro's. Sorry. It looks like Frank Molinaro is getting pretty heavy into coaching, similar to what Tony Ramos did. Where, I mean, Tony Ramos wasn't too old when he retired, but I mean, I can tell he's focused his life on coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you were there.
I'm starting to see that in Frank Molinaro. Yeah. Shout out to Tony Ramos, but I think Frank Molinaro might be getting close to being timed out and focus on coaching.
Yeah. Someone else. There's a lot of names at 65. We can talk about 65 for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But someone who I thought was actually did not get enough love was Nick Lee. Oh my gosh, Nick Lee.
Lion.
Yeah, no, I mean, Sam, he was the number 11. Came in and beat Lizak, Ironman, Lazor, Molinaro. Like, he looked so
I'm
good.
not discrediting his performance. Yeah, he did. I'm not discrediting his performance, but I think I don't think he was underrated.
I don't know. Putting him at
afterwards.
Putting him at the 11 seed is kind of underrating him, especially because he beat the 6 and the 3 and a couple other guys too. So,
when did he beat those guys?
Oh, I mean, no, he didn't have any reason to be ranked ahead of them. He was ranked correctly, but it was just a guy who was maybe not overlooked, but like we had no reason to put him above. But clearly,
right,
he's in the mix. Like he's qualified for the Olympic trials, and we didn't even think we were going to see him this year. It's just really interesting.
I remember you were writing your article for 65 and you had it finished, and then basically as soon as you finished it, Nick Lee signed up, and I texted you. I was like, "Hey, Nick Lee just signed up. Do you want to go back and update your article at all?"
Off the record, Sam.
Well, you said I don't think it'll make a difference. He won't do well.
Okay, yeah, I guess. I thought Yanni Diakovalis was going to come and blow everybody up. I thought Oliver was going to be Molinaro.
I was exactly with you now. I mean, I picked Yanni, Oliver, Molinaro in my pick, so I was wrong too. I'm just saying, it's funny how things turn like that.
I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry.
I hope he listens.
I was weak.
I hope he listens.
I was weak and I was lazy and I didn't want to adjust my picks. And Sam,
gosh.
Jeez, okay. I think let's move on from 65. I say we go to 74. No more.
Hold on, we don't want to talk about Yanni or Jo.
Dude,
we can't move on.
Okay.
We can't.
Okay, go. Jo was.
You hate Yanni?
No, I'm a big Yanni fan, but Jo was on another level, especially like what we saw him lose to Zane, who was super close with Yanni, and now here's Jo teching Jaden Ironman. He scored 50 points against
Yeah,
really good
he
guys.
went. It is so believable in a weight that we said was so stacked and we weren't sure who was going to come out on top. He outscored the field 50-0.
That's a lot of points.
No scored a point and he teched everybody.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane that he's able to put those kind of points up. And, you know, I thought about picking him over Yanni this weekend. I watched his interview with Bader and I got really high on him. After watching that, it's again recency bias. I was telling myself, I was like, Sam, don't let that get to you. Yanni's gonna win. But I was
You're
very
so
wrong.
easily swayed.
Yeah, it's sad.
That's okay. All right.
Anyway,
you want to talk about
I think
Yanni?
yeah. I mean, I feel like Yanni was not the optimized version that we've seen this past summer. I mean, the fact that he sat out of the Dan Kolov makes me wonder why he sat out and why he picked this tournament. And I think it only points to him being a little bit banged up and needing a rest. And it was evident to me that it didn't look like he got enough rest this past weekend. So I don't know. I feel like he was a little banged up and not the optimized version, but at the same time, Jo looks so good that I don't know if even optimized Yanni would be able to come close to that.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's hard for me to look forward.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see him here shortly in a couple months, and we'll know. I don't know if he's gonna be the rep or not, but I know that whenever he does, like whatever Yanni we see on the mat, then that's our optimized Yanni for the year, right? Because this is what he's training for. So I'm sure that the Cornell staff is gonna, keep him fresh, keep him healthy, and I think he'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we'll see him at the yardage in January.
Hopefully, let it be said, I actually like watching Yanni Diakomahalis wrestle. So the more Yanni I see, the better.
Sacrifice sleep.
I can watch it afterwards, maybe not live. Okay, hey, let's go to 74. 74 kilograms.
Let's do it.
Wow. Logan Massa kind of blew up this bracket. Kind of unpredictable. I was kind of not expecting nuts. Logan Massa to go do that. Beat, Valencia, Kolchiski, and Mackay. Oh my gosh. He looked really good. I remember watching him and Kolchiski, and I was so surprised, Massa's always been super good, but he's had this chronic just being just there, but not quite getting to the top of the podium. He lost to Nolf last year at the senior or the world team trials, and he lost to Chenzo a couple times, and right there, but not quite. And I thought that he would qualify, but I wasn't gonna give him a shot to win. He had Nazar and Mackay and Tommy Gant, Anthony Valencia, a lot of these guys who were, seasoned freestyle athletes who were, I would pick over Massa. So, I mean,
yeah,
egg on my face, because Massa went out and did the dang thing, and looked really, really great, I think. So, Sam, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically on board with everything you said. I felt like, so I wrote the article on 74, and I was really hoping that Nolf and Chenzo were gonna come.
Yeah.
And so I had a little bit different picks, assuming they were gonna be there. It's more fun to write about Nolf and Chenzo. So behind them, I never really thought. I thought it was gonna be Nolf, Kolchitsky, and then Chenzo, I think is how I picked it. And so I never really gave much thought to Valencia, Mackay, Gant, and even Massa. And so, I mean, when I look back, I can see, Massa's freestyle game has been really good over the past few years.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and where he is with with Sergey Beloglazov at the RTC over there is incredible, and he's got a big growth pattern going on right now, and I think it's just going to keep coming.
If I remember correctly, he was actually pretty close to beating Nolf at the World Team
He
Trials.
was, yeah.
It
No, I
was a
think that's
lot
when
closer than people gave him credit for, you know.
I think that's when Nolf had his I think I can't remember his ankle or knee hurt.
He might have been injured.
I think yeah, I think he was, and that's probably why people get so much credit for that. But regardless, I think Massa did look great this weekend and has such a great potential moving forward.
And not just Massa. Like, that field was tough, dude.
Yes, it was.
So Mackay, Gant, Kolchiski, Pantelio, Valencia, Evan Wick really showed up this weekend. Chance Marsteller and Tyler Berger. Lots and lots of really tough dudes. So props to Massa for coming out and getting it done. Something I was going to say is like Valencia really, this is the first time in a while that we've seen him, this season especially, like that he's looked really good, right? I guess it was the start of this season. He came out and he's kind of been exceeding our expectations, I guess you could say, because everyone thought he was going to be amazing, and then he came and I guess we something happened and he didn't pan out like we expected him to, but it looks like he's starting to get back into the rhythm of things. He teched Pantelio. Did you watch Valencia and Tommy Gant? Because, oh my gosh.
I did.
That match was so good. That match was absurd. I loved it. Valencia got thrown onto the concrete. Well, once onto a table and once onto the concrete twice. Like, that's just...
They were getting after it.
Your body can only take so many bludgeons into hard objects. Does not...
Yeah.
It's not meant to be held up against a table and a concrete floor. But Tommy Gant getting it in the final seconds.
They were vicious out there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they were vicious with that.
It was mean, dude. Sam, what were your overall thoughts from 74 kilograms?
I think we covered them overall. I mean, it was one of the biggest upset weights. Mackay looked pretty good in the weight. I mean, I feel like after the Bill Farrell, he didn't look as good as I would have hoped, and he came back and he got it. He got it going again, and I was excited to see him going.
Yeah, it was good to see him going. And there's always going to be like a little bit of an asterisk here because, even though Massa won at this super deep weight, there's still Isaiah Martinez, Jordan Burroughs, and Kyle Dake all in front of him. So
right,
it's just that's
the thing about 74 is like it's not gonna look the way we think it is.
Oh, I can tell you how it's gonna look. It's gonna look insane. It's gonna look a little crazy.
Or yeah, it's gonna look nuts. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much down to Dake and Burroughs. I mean, Imar still has the chance to knock off Dake or Burroughs. He's been looking so good. We'll only know in State College, April 3rd.
Only know in State College. Come on down, guys. Come visit me in State College. We'll watch some wrestling. It'll be awesome. All right, we got to move up.
I'm trying to come.
Let's keep going. 86 kilograms. Wow. Miles Martin. He beat Alex Daringer. That match was so good. It was
great.
Like that.
I mean, from the start, I was scared for Milo. Watching through the TV.
Man, vicious first period. And just Martin stayed on him the entire time. And like, props to Martin. Like Daringer basically had it in the bag. He was winning with 8 seconds left, and Martin was able to get it. And that just speaks to Martin, clearly believed that he was going to be right there with Derringer, even though Derringer beat him very, very badly. I believe at the Farrell, right?
Right.
So he made some changes and
might be.
he picked. I mean, Martin. I think the biggest
Hold
thing
on,
was he just picked
I
up
don't
his.
think that happened.
Oh, was that at the Farrell or? I believe they
I
wrestled
don't think
somewhere.
so. I don't
Oh,
think so.
maybe I'll just have to edit this whole thing out. Maybe I'll edit out the whole episode.
No, let's not do that.
Edit.
How
edit
would Nick Lee know that you hated on him so bad? If you just deleted the whole episode, how would Nick Lee
Just
know?
go look up the Bill Farrell. I don't want to talk about it. I'm embarrassed. This is not Christmas.
Okay.
Here I'm gonna keep speaking on Miles Martin, and even like against Valencia, he had all the makings of a comeback there at the end, and was really close. He was really close. He could have knocked off Zahid Valencia, who's, clearly right there. But something I noticed about Alex Derringer is that he had a super close match with Brett Farr, which was like unexpected, right? Because Farr was the 8th seed and Derringer obviously was right there with a world champion and basically the second best guy in the world, and he's still having these 2-1 matches.
I don't know what it was.
I think it's why it was a close match.
No, why Derringer looked so different. I mean, you were right about them wrestling at the Bill Farrell. What's his name? Derringer won 7-2.
Yeah.
And he just first of all, he was going to steal a spot too. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was previously qualified, and so I thought it was just Jo doing it.
Interesting.
He stole a spot as well. And he looked really good at the Bill Farrell, and he looked really good this summer. And for some reason, I mean, he had tight matches previous to the semifinals, and when he did wrestle Miles Martin, he couldn't get to leg attacks and he couldn't score.
Yeah, I think Derringer, truthfully,
it seemed like a different match.
I think Derringer just looked a little defensive this weekend. He wasn't really I don't know. He didn't have his typical Derringer offense. So, but like after his loss to Martin, he really picked it up. He teched Sammy Brooks and he teched Farr for 3rd place. So, maybe it was like a little bit of a wake up slap or something like that. Like saying, hey,
yeah,
these guys are still coming. They're still coming for you. You can't take your foot off the gas pedal. You just got to keep improving.
Yeah, well, he teched in the World Team Trials last year. Zahid Valencia won the thing. And I kind of want to talk about Zahid. I mean, he looked great. He got into a little bit of a tussle argument with Aaron Brooks. And,
yeah.
I don't know about that. I didn't really like that one. Normally, I like a little bit of drama. It's kind of entertaining and cool, but that one seemed a little bit too chippy for me.
I think it was a little chippy, but also like Aaron wasn't winning, or Aaron wasn't even close to winning. He was losing 6-0. So that's just I don't know. It just I feel like if it's a close match, sure, get chippy, but like it doesn't really look good for you if you're trying to fight with the guy when you're losing. It's like guys would fight with Gilman.
And by the same logic, though,
and Gilman said said like, hey, like you can't really come at me because look at the score. You just lost the match. Gilman had the same kind of philosophy.
Well, by the same logic, though, of you're losing, you can't come at me. Well, I can't come. I've already done it, and there's nothing more that needs to be done in my eyes. And I just feel they took it too far, especially like in the interview when Zahid told him he's a little boy and he needs to have respect for him. I just felt like that was a little far, and Aaron Brooks went a little far with I don't know what he said, but somehow he got Zahid chirping, and I just think that's unnecessary. A little bit of drama, a little bit of entertainment, I could be good for the sport. but
Yeah,
on a respectful level, I'm
but
gonna say.
you don't want to have it turn like negative. Like it's good to have lighthearted, whatever, chirping or just talking back and forth sometimes. But like,
Hmm.
you know, when you're taking it off the mat and like saying it to, reporters and things, and your words are being
Yeah,
documented, it just doesn't look really good for the
exactly.
sport. So, I
Absolutely.
mean,
Yeah.
I can't tell Zahid Valencia what to do because I am not his dad nor his coach. um, but
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to keep that in mind, I guess. Um,
Mhm.
keep it a gentleman's sport because at the end, like it's like what Spencer Lee said after he won. He said, like, I'm not gonna put anybody down. I'm gonna be respectful on the mat. He said, I'm gonna be respectful
Yeah.
off the mat and an animal on the mat. And so keep it on the
Right.
mat, I guess, is the moral of that story. Do you have any other takeaways from '86? We kind of just dwelled on Miles Martin, and Zahid is
Yeah.
looking super good. What about Brooks? What do you think about Aaron Brooks? We kind of had his
I mean,
senior level
Aaron
debut
Brooks
ish kind of thing.
looks. I think he's gonna be really good for Penn State. It definitely puts him in the team race a little bit more, especially two things that really set Penn State a little bit more, closing the gap in my eyes is Aaron Brooks looking so good and Nick Lee looking just fantastic.
Yeah.
Those two things kind of close the gap in my eyes of Penn State and Iowa.
Yeah, no, it's interesting how this tournament, which didn't actually have to do a whole lot with Penn State and Iowa, actually is affecting our perception of the team race. So that's always
Mhm.
fun. It's always fun to speculate. Okay, we got to move on. We got to keep this rolling. 97 kilograms. You know, kind of. We There's a lot more to say than there usually is about 97, right?
Yeah.
Kyvan Gadsden took a loss to Colin Moore, who then took a loss to Zilmer. But like, I mean, truthfully, Moore looked really good all weekend. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, him against Gadsden. Did you see how high he picked him up? Did you see how high Gadsden
I
picked
did.
Moore up? I'm
That was
sorry, I mixed it
nice.
up, but Colin Moore nearly touched the ceiling. But he was up 8-2, 10-2 on Zilmer before Zilmer came back. Uh, I don't know. Colin Moore he's right there, you know. He's got to sharpen some
Yeah.
things up, but I think he can, you
So
know, go for it.
yeah. Well, I think he has a lot more room to grow than Zilmer taking away from that. I mean, he got up so many points, and I mean, not giving up head pinches is a big deal. And
Right, especially for
I think
guys.
with guys like Stieber and guys like Tervel in his corner, and him out at the Ohio RTC. And another thing that is kind of slept on from this weekend is Miles Martin and Colin Moore had a breakout tournament.
Yeah, yeah. Both of
Has
them
been at the
really.
Ohio RTC for the past like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And I say there's not a um, I mean, Jaden Cox comes to your room and makes that big of a difference is amazing. And what a great grab for Ohio RTC. I mean, it means so much. They lost something great and a great leader in Kyle Snyder, and they were able to get another great leader in Jaden Cox,
As someone's
and I'm
step
just
up.
happy for them. Happy that everything worked out.
Yeah. And something I was gonna add about Moore having this really good tournament is it shows that it's good for our country that it's not always going chalk, right? For the past how many years, Kyle Snyder has basically just dominated 97 kilograms, and he's beaten Gadsden in the finals, and and that's been it. But it's just really good to see that guys are adapting, and then and changing and trying to and not content with just being second or just being third or just being fourth. Like, they're coming for Kyle Snyder, and that's good for our sport. So, you have any other
Yeah,
thoughts from
yeah,
97?
absolutely. Um, no, I think Hayden Zimmer looked good, but I think we kind of expected that. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, well now we got to move on to our last weight, and then we got some questions for you guys. But 125 kilograms. I just want to start off saying like, hey, our prayers are out to Anthony Cassar. Um,
Yes.
he got re-injured. It looked like his shoulder. It looked not good. Um, and like you could kind of see like on his face, um, like yeah, his that's it. You know. And of course, we don't know how bad it is, and we may never know how bad it is. But just for a guy like Cassar to be so close to achieving his goals on multiple occasions, and then just having the same injury over and over again,
Yeah.
it's very sad to see.
That really stinks for him.
And another thing is, I think I underestimated. I think Cassar might have been a little overestimated going into this tournament. I mean,
Possibly. But I don't know. I think he's proved it. The way he's beaten Gable Steveson in the past and
right.
just dominated the college scene has been amazing. But
So
again, like his match with Tanner Hall at the duel, he looked
yeah,
flat. And his matches here at Senior Nationals, he looked flat and like he didn't have anything. He had to come from behind in the quarters, and he lost in the semis. I feel like and he had the injury to fall down, but he was still
but he
getting
was
beat
he was losing to Don
in the
Bradley.
semis, and yeah, I feel like he's a little banged up. Maybe I don't know. It's a problem, but there definitely is a problem.
Yeah, and I, nobody really can tell. Like, there's not a lot to say about it because nobody knows what's going on with in behind those doors in the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. Like that, they keep it secret, and so
Well, except for
we can only.
you're in that door.
Well,
You're in those
not
doors,
not
Jude.
during the wrestling season. I'm not allowed to be because of high school rules. But during
Yeah.
the summer, yeah. But like we can only speculate and we can only hope that he's doing okay. But truthfully, Kassar getting hurt is a blow to the team race. For Penn State, Iowa,
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll see. I mean, he could be good by NCAAs and Big Tens. He could be healthy then, and it could work out. And then Kirkfleet could fill in and do just as well. In
Yeah.
my eyes, he's right there.
Yeah, I mean, he lost a super close one to Nelson, who lost a super close one to Bradley. So Kirkfleet's clearly right there.
Transitive property, baby.
Transitive
More math.
property. um, so it's good to see like there's options for Penn State if Cassar is truly hurt. So but what's interesting
And
is like
Seth Neville's, I believe, is still open.
yeah. What's interesting is how bad Gable beat Bradley. Even like the score was like maybe 4-1. It was a lot worse than the score showed. So it's just an interesting thing to note. And I mean, I'm sure that Gable is probably pretty unsatisfied with his NCAA finish last year, and he's probably pretty unsatisfied with his Final X performance last year. So from what I can assume, he's probably training really hard, and I know that Gable wants to be the best. He wants to knock off Gwiz and be our rep for 2020. So
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Okay. Sam, do you have any other thoughts from 125, or can we go on to our questions?
Let's go on to questions. I mean,
Oh man,
Senior Nationals was great and good to finish it off at heavyweight. Really interesting storylines there. And so let's check out some questions.
Okay, Sam, you ask the questions.
All right. Let me real quick get to the questions.
It's question
Sorry, I
time.
don't have these up.
Come on, grab your friends. I can't say that. We might get copyright struck.
Uh-oh. I don't want
Uh-oh.
that.
No, please.
Nomad might copyright that. He needs to. He needs to
Cues from
copyright that song.
F's. Cues from
Publish
F's.
it all over iTunes. All right, I've finally got the questions up.
All right, here we go.
From HMA's favorite person, Tony Rotundo.
Ooh, man.
Who takes some pretty cool pictures. He takes some pretty cool pictures on wrestlersarewarriors.com. Go check him out. He's got it really organized. If you need a picture of somebody, he's got it in there.
You know, he was there at Senior Nationals.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You can see him taking pictures around to the mats and stuff. He was wearing a Home Mat Advantage shirts. So it was
shout out to Tony Rotundo.
Shout out to Tony Rotundo. All right, go Sam.
Okay, this is what he says. Do Lee and Valencia try to get some non-U.S. matches in? Yasar Dogu or Mario Pelicon? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. In January. Cuba in February.
I mean, I'm not going to... I don't know the plan, but I think that Lee and Valencia... I assume he means Zahid Valencia. Or maybe both Valencias. Yes. Maybe both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why just one would go.
You know, maybe they do, but like the NCAA season is a grind enough, right?
Yeah.
And so trying to fit in traveling and competing foreign countries and stuff, it'll wear a guy down, especially because of how much you actually wrestled during the college season. So I'm going to say I don't know, but I hope they do because I like watching them in freestyle.
Throw in the Argent too in January. That's a big one. But I want to say no. Maybe Valencia. I wouldn't be surprised if Zeke Jones tried to get Valencia in. But I think Lee needs to be kept on a pitch count, and Iowa's focus needs to be completely with some interest in their freestyle competition. But I mean, you heard Spencer Lee say in the interview, wasn't trying much freestyle. I was going to mainly the college practices and very few RTC practices. So, I mean, he can still perform at the... I mean, we saw him. Just think about what he would be with the training at the OTC this summer if he does make the Olympic team. I mean, he's going to be so optimized by then.
It's exciting.
But I don't think that the competing freestyle overseas is going to be very important to his performance. But maybe Valencia.
Maybe.
As much for the duels, which won't mean as much to them. They've got the Pac-12 pretty much in their hands. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And again, I'm with you. I hope they do. I'd love to get to watch them, and preferably I'd like to see them at the Yargin over the Yasar Dogu and the Italy tournament.
It's just
I would prefer those.
But I mean, like, we don't know where they're gonna stack up against the best competition, and I mean, why go to Urigan if you're just gonna wrestle, some absolute monsters, and maybe just go, 0-1. That's a lot of energy to not be able to perform. It might just be good just to have some easier, just to have some foreign experience under your belt before you go to a big tournament like the Oregon or something. Well,
and fortunately for us, they do have international experience. I mean, Spencer's competed at 4 different world championships.
I thought
so they do have international experience.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to ask our next question, Sam? You want to go straight to the next one?
I'd love to. I'd be honored. From Jacob Hughley, who runs a great podcast over at Tech Fall Fantasy. If you're hoping for a better game, check out his stuff. We've actually posted. He's written 2 articles for HMA, so pretty cool. Check out our site, Jacob Hughley.
Hi, Jacob.
If that's how you pronounce it. He'll have to tell me. All right. This is what he asks. which wrestler impressed you the most besides finalists? And he's
Dude,
so Jude, you may start.
I have a list of the one wrestler that I have to pick. But it kind of consists
All right,
of
you
here's the
can
field,
read
and
your
then I'll
list,
pick.
but please narrow it down.
Okay, I'll narrow it down. Vito, Nick Lee, Bryce Meredith, Josh Saunders, Anthony Valencia, Evan Wick, Aaron Brooks, and Kirk Felites. There we go. That's my list.
Okay,
And
that's a good list.
I guess
That
so.
is a
I think
65s.
I think I gotta like chop it like the two. I gotta bring it down to two. I think it's Vito and Nick Lee.
I was
Vito
gonna
for
say
being
Vito and Aaron Brooks.
Vito for being Vito for beating Suriano, and then Nick Lee for beating Molinaro and Ironman, and making the semis of.
Not just beating.
Oh yeah, beating bad.
Destroying.
So, man, it's just like everyone else was like outstanding, but I think I'm gonna pick those two wrestlers, Vito and Nick Lee, and it's not because I'm a Penn State homer. I actually really do like Nick Lee for a wrestler. Not just because he wears a blue and white singlet. So,
Hey, I have
what about
a question for you.
Oh, okay, yeah. What is it?
Well, I'll answer the question before we move on to that. But
Okay.
I think it's Aaron Brooks and Vito.
Aaron Brooks and Vito.
And Vito by the same logic that you had him for, and Aaron Brooks, I just think he performed really well, especially for his age. I mean, he's very young and performed very, very well at the senior level, especially having competed for quite a while. I think it's very impressive what he did this weekend.
Right. I think so too.
But I have a question for you. Which is more likely, Jude? Out of the six champs that we saw at senior nationals, 0 world team members, or 3?
Oh, 3. Whoa. Okay. Spencer Lee, he can be a world team member. And then Jo, he can definitely be a world team member. And 74, I will say no. Massa cannot be a world team member. 86,
yeah, this dude's got it.
I will also say no. I don't think Valencia can be our world team rep. 97, no, I don't think Hilmer can do it. And 25, I think no. I don't think Bradley could do it either.
You said 2.
There's 2 that's closer to 3, but I don't know where it would come from. Or could none of these? So I guess my answer would be 0. I think we're more likely to have 0 of these. None of these champs make it.
All right, how about this?
Oh no, Sam.
0 or 2.
Actually, are we more likely to have 0 or are we more likely to have 2? I think more likely to have 0. I think just the
1 or
guy.
2.
Are we more likely to have 1 or more likely to have 2? We're more likely to have 1, I believe. I think Spencer making it is a higher probability than both Spencer and Jo making it. So. Okay.
All right, I can go along with that.
Yeah, you see.
No more questions for you, Jude.
No more questions. Thank you. All right.
I will cease my cross-examination.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, guys. Hey, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Home at Advantage Wrestling Podcast. I have been Jude Swisher. He has been Sam Herring. We are sponsored by Tony Rotundo, WrestlersAndWarriors.com. They take photos. Really good photos. Really good photos. Sam has one right behind his head right this very second. It's Jordan Burroughs versus Aymar at Final X when their faces are colliding. And that's a Tony Rotundo photo. Did you know Flow Wrestling uses his photos? That's how good they are. So go, guys. Go give them a look and check them out because they are awesome. Huge shout out to my friend Sam Herring on this wonderful Christmas Eve. I hope you have a good day, buddy. Tomorrow, aren't you going up a weight class? Is what I heard.
So I'm wrestling this weekend in Atlanta. I'm not really going up a weight, but I mean, I'm not really cutting much, so it's not really a big deal. I'm not going up a weight though.
Nice. I like to hear that. Not cutting is awesome. But wrestling's awesome. So sometimes cutting is what you got to do.
Wrestling is so fun.
It is.
So fun.
It's really great. It's fun to do. It's fun to talk about. It's only good times. It's only good times. So
hey, a little tease. We'll have a Lee Roper interview coming out at the end of this week.
Those are air
Lee
horns.
Roper's a guy that if you guys have been listening for a while, you guys know that I've been itching to get him on the show, and I've gotten his wife Rebecca Roper on. So it's about time. It's about time that I get him on the show for an interview.
Awesome. All right, Sam Herring, it's time to pull the plug and cease this episode of Home Advantage. So, hey, thank you guys for listening. Really appreciate it.
Thank you again from Sam, and have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.